Yep. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Handmade by Ying with Donna. Today is Monday, February the 13th, 2023, and it's 7:00 p.m. Tonight, I am so blessed and lucky to have Di of Sister Chicks. Now, how cool is that? I've been jonesing to get this lady over here, and finally, it's happening. So, Di, thank you for coming over.
You're welcome. Hi, Donna.
Hi, sweetheart. So I'm going to slip into the chat before we ever get busy and welcome everyone real quick. I have Delia. She's my ride or die partner. Thanks, Di, for being here tonight, working the chat for me. She's one of my mods. Brenda Foley. Hello, sweetheart. Donna Dixon. Hello, all. Susie Gabbard. Hello, Donna and Delia. Melody. Good evening, everyone. Susie Gabbard. Hi, Donna and Donna Dixon. LOL. Denise Beck, I love you, girl. Thanks for hopping on. And I'm skimming the chat. So the distance is here. Hey, girl, welcome. Tracy, over to Sewing Channel. Hey, I'm here. I'm sewing. So if I don't catch a hello, if you don't catch a hello, I'm sorry. Just know I love you and I'm here. LOL. Hey, Tracy, while you're here, look at this hoodie. Is it not? I'm rocking this, baby. And it's all because of you, girl. Looking forward to this. I really love Di. So do I. I am so thankful and blessed for the opportunity to call her friend. Let me see. Dee Adams, hello. Melena Soteri. Hey, Beth Goody Goods. 9 more days and counting before the baby comes. I'm so happy for you, girl. Katie D. Krause, hello, everyone. Can't stay, but I will catch the replay. And Phyllis Klein. Wow, awesome. Great job. It was your video. I went through and grabbed all of my hoodies and I did exactly as you said. So now I got nice hoodies, baby. Thank you.
And I noticed it when I saw her. I said, is that one of Tracy's hacks?
Yep. And I love it. Joe thought, what are you doing to your clothes? I said, I'm going to try something to bring up this great big stack of hoodies that I haven't been able to wear. So I'm zipping through them and he goes, man, that's going quick. And I like them. And I was like, I love it. I love a good hack. So everybody's, if you've got any questions for Di, please feel free to ask them in the chat. Joe will highlight them and then I'll be sure to hit them. So Di, are you ready? We'll get this party rolling.
Let's go. I love a good party.
Absolute. So how did you ever get started into quilting? I'm going to start right there.
You know, I've been a seamstress since I was 13 years old. And in 2010, I was in Craft Warehouse. I don't know if you have those.
No.
Or not, but they have a huge fabric section of like name brand fabric. And I saw a pattern for this little table topper. It was so cute. And I thought, I had to make that for my cousin who loves candy corn and they call him Candy Corn Kid. So I thought I could make those triangles into a candy corn. And so I made this table topper that looked like it was candy corn. And I broke all the rules. I had no idea. I couldn't figure out why it was smaller than it was. I didn't know about the 1/4-inch seam or anything, but that was in 2010. And I made like 6 of those and jumped into quilting, and I've been there ever since.
You're rocking the quilting world, girl.
Well, thanks. I love it.
One of the questions I always ask is, give me a little bit of your back history, like husband, dog, cat, kids, grandkids, season of life you're in, basically.
Well, I'm in the old broad season of life.
I'm kicking it with you, babe.
We're empty nesters. We have 3 children. 2 of them are married, grandchildren, and ages 18, I know, maybe 17. Anyway, 17 or 18 to 4. And the 4-year-old kicks my butt. I sometimes refer to in my videos. We married in 1976, and here's something really embarrassing. It was July of 1976.
Oh, that's cool. You're a centennial bride.
Well, guess what color our wedding was?
Red, white, and blue.
Oh my gosh. There were so many that July. But anyway, yeah, we've been married 47 years now, and to the same crotchety old engineer.
Hope he's not watching. That's cool.
Mhm.
Did any of your other family members quilt, like mom, grandma, aunt, or anybody, or are you a first generation quilter?
So they were all seamstresses, but my daughter-in-law and my mother-in-law, or my daughter-in-law and my aunt quilted, and they actually taught me how to quilt. When I started making a first quilt, I cut it out like it said, and I had just a ton of questions. So I'd call my Aunt Rita. In fact, I named my TL 2010 after Rita. And yeah, and then my daughter-in-law, Shawnee, was quite the quilter, and I would call her and she'd tell me what to do. So they schooled me on so many things over the phone. So that's how, then I had a neighbor down the street who was really, really good, and she helped me a lot too.
Oh, that's awesome. Do any of your own children quilt at all or have a desire to learn from mom?
My daughter-in-law does quilt, of course, and she helped me. And then I have two sons who don't want anything to do with it, but they love to receive quilts. My daughter, Michelle, who's Hazel's mom, actually works for me, and she helps me in the quilting studio with a lot of my quilting.
Oh,
And
cool.
that's how I'm able to do such a volume of quilts. She runs the Gamel Statler and does a great job with it. And but she doesn't want to sew. She doesn't want a piece of quilt. I did make her piece one for her friend though, and she did a great job.
Oh, that's awesome. Susie Gabbard, question. What is the hardest job for you as a quilt shop owner?
You know what? I don't really have a quilt shop. I fell into quilting so much and loved it so much that I immediately got all my wholesale licenses and opened an online store. And then I got cancer, and that kind of slowed me down, and I shut it down, and I lost heart for it. So I don't have a quilt shop owner. I just have a long arm quilting studio. And I probably the hardest part with owning a business is bookkeeping. I hate bookkeeping. I hate numbers, and I don't really care for quilt math. So
I'm with you on that. Quilt math is hard.
yeah.
Do you name and label all of your quilts?
I don't. I don't. Every once in a while, I'll put a label on it, but it's probably one of my biggest downfalls.
I think that's with a lot of us. How many quilts over your tenure per se would you estimate that you've made?
Oh my heavens.
I know the hard questions.
Oh my gosh. I don't have a clue. I would say at least 400.
Wow, that's a lot, and that's a lot of blessings.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then when we do videos, sometimes I'll do 3 to 4 quilts a month.
That's pretty cool. Do you ever do private quilting lessons offline? Well, we know your tutorials are fabulous, but do you ever just educate someone offline, like do private lessons?
I won't call them private lessons, but we'll sit down and work with people. And then I'm at my quilt retreat. We work a lot with each other at the quilt retreat. That's fun. So it's never really in a formal quilt,
Right.
School type lesson. But yeah, I have taught though for a quilt.
What's the hardest thing that you've had to overcome with learning to be a quilter? Mine's that quarter inch.
The hardest thing? No, that was pretty easy. the hardest thing that I have to overcome, I can't, this is terrible. I don't want to be a snob but I can't think of anything. I just thoroughly enjoy everything about quilting.
That's how I am. When I first began, it was that 1/4 inch getting it, but I had never sewed before.
Oh,
So when I mastered that, it's just now I can zip through.
yeah.
How long would you say it takes you to make a quilt from beginning to end, from picking out your patterns, cutting it up, and putting it together? If you had to like time frames, say twin size, let's go twin size.
In hours. Let's put it in hours, from beginning to end. I don't know, probably 8 hours, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the thing that takes the longest is if it's not a kit, and I rarely sew kits. I do a lot of my own patterns, and the hardest thing sometimes is buying fabric. That will take months sometimes. You're looking for that just right fabric.
Right. You know exactly what you want. You're not going to settle.
Exactly.
Yep. I want to make sure. How do you ever hand stitch, like hand quilting, like the Amish?
Yeah, I have on some quilts, but
I can't get my stitches even. That's why I'm asking that one.
oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Videos about it, but it's pretty. My first quilt that I hand stitched was my wedding quilt that I helped make.
Oh, cool. I already got that one, sweetheart.
It is now shredded. So much.
What kind of fabrics do you use? Do you have a set fabric line that you prefer over anything else? I'm a moda girl.
I just love fabric. My absolute favorite is Allison Glass.
Ooh.
Designer. I love the vibrant, rich, saturated colors. And a lot of it I don't sew. I just have it on my shelf and I call it my AG shrine. So
that's a lot of people. What is it? Not K Facet. What's the other one?
Art gallery?
No. What's Amy collect, Joe? Do you remember? Yeah, she's one of our cool girls. But anyway, it's this fabric designer and she's got like hidden away stash. I can't remember the name of it. It'll come to me and I'll ask you if you've got it here. Tula Pink.
Oh, Tula? Oh, yeah. I've got a lot of Tula and I like to work with Tula. She's really fun and I love her Tuesday videos.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
She's so inspirational.
Yeah, I was on Etsy the other day and just skimming, and 1 yard of a specialty fabric. I guess it was a print that's no longer in existence. It was 500 or 600 and some odd dollars for 1 yard of fabric. I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
I can't justify that.
She's reprinting her one. And I forget the name of it. I'm sorry. Chemo Brain. We're just going to go with Chemo Brain that I can't remember the name, but I'm probably going to buy some when it comes out. It's the lady's face and stuff, and she's got it in different sizes. So I'm super excited about.
Oh, that'll be pretty though. Thank you, Delia, for telling me. I couldn't remember it for life, loved or money. It's that when you don't feel good kind of brain, you can't think. How do you choose? Do you like migrate towards certain colors when you're quilting, or do you pick a focal fabric and then build off of? Let me get into the mind of you when you're picking.
You know what? Since I have been making videos, let's start up. When I was just making quilts for myself, I kept them in my favorite colors, which are the blues and the greens or aquas. And had quite a few of that. And when I started my channel and making them, I work with anything. I work with fabrics that I didn't think I would work with. So it's fun seeing quilts that you can do that with.
I love your videos. I love the way you walk us through it.
Oh, thank you.
I do. How How do you come up with your own designs? Now, do you sell patterns or do you just design them and we can flip into your videos and kind of jot it down?
So I have patterns on some patterns that I've made up on my website, sisterchicksquilting.com, and they're free downloads. I actually am wanting to start designing and selling some patterns. There yet. So just
you're good. You can do it.
you may see something in the future. As far as see again, chemo brain. What was the question? How do I oh my head.
I'm with you because I just lost it too.
Okay.
It's okay. We'll skip it and come back. Oh, okay. It was about designing your own patterns.
Oh, how do I design? Sometimes I call it flying by the seat of my pants, Donna. And I will just, let's see. I just did a triangle quilt and I had a jelly roll and I thought, if I sew these together in jelly roll strips or in jelly roll pieces or units, and if I do this, they'll fit. And I thought, and I came up with a larger triangle and I thought, gray background would look really nice. So I did a gray background on it. So
that sounds cool.
So it depends. I just flew by the seat of my pants.
Have you ever been published yet into a quilt magazine or any books that we could all go out and buy up?
Well, sort of. I have a client who I quilt for. And let me see if I can find her on my phone. Her name is Kristen, and she does retro. She does retro stuff. Let's see. So her handle on YouTube on Instagram is Verity Vintage Studio.
Okay.
It's Kristen Stolfus Clay. And she writes patterns, and I have one of her quilts in my studio right now. I am never allowed to photograph or put them out there because she writes them for magazines.
Oh, how cool.
So she'll send me the magazines. So I have a stack of magazines from Kristen, and she always gives me credit. She'll say, quilted by Die Clough of Sister Chicks Quilting.
Oh, how cool is that?
So that's as far as I've been published. But if you want to follow her, she dresses vintage all the time. So she'll dress in 40, like a 40s and 50s woman, and she's
how cool.
And her children are beautiful, and she puts them all over Instagram. I mean, but go check her out. It's Verity, Verity, Vintage, Vintage Studio. And that will lead you to her Instagram and her website.
Okay.
Like I say, that's as far as I've been published.
Absolutely. Let me see. How are your quilts different from ones in a department store? That's just one of the standard questions. A department store can't hold a candle to you, babe.
That's right. None of our homemade quilts they can hold a candle.
Yep. Oh, but that's one that's submitted. So
I have a quilt right here that I flew by the seat of my pants on. If you want to see it.
Absolute.
Okay, I showed it to you before. So what I did, see the heart in the middle surrounded.
I just love that.
So I had this vintage fabric, and the vintage fabric is little Valentines from when we were in school. Remember?
I knew they look like the little Valentine cards.
And remember that they do. Look at they're always a teacher one. Look, there's a teacher.
Oh.
Remember, the box would say 1 or 2 teacher cards. So what I did, made this quilt. And this was all flying by the seat of my pants. And what it is a small quilt. It's going to be my tablecloth. So I just took it off the long arm, and I'm going to bind it. And I'll get to you one day. before Valentine's is
Well,
over. But I'll have it for next year.
absolute. I love vintage. Anything vintage.
Yeah,
I was brought up in the wrong time, I guess.
I
How do you
agree.
take care of your quilts to make them last for times to come? You know, like when
How do
you're,
I?
do you wash them? Do you just have them
Absolutely.
dry clean? Do you,
I
mine's
don't
usable.
have to tell you, I love putting quilts on as tablecloths. And this was big. This was 42 and a half by 42 and a half square. And that's a big tablecloth. And I'm putting them on the table and using them. For Thanksgiving, I have this beautiful one with it's all Moda fabric, and it has these, in fact, it's the Moda Love pattern. And I put that on my table for Thanksgiving, and I didn't want to pick it up when we started putting the food down because the table setting was so pretty with it.
Right.
Got cranberry sauce, gravy, and I'm sure turkey and something green spilled on it. I think it was my cousin's 7-Up salad, to tell you the truth. I know he makes 7-Up salad. It's the only thing he knows how to make really good. But anyway, I thought it's just a quilt. Don't hold any energy about it. I went down, I put spray and wash on it and threw it in the washing machine with my tablecloths with spray and wash on those, washed it in cold water, and it came out beautifully. And so I don't have, I know ladies that have a bed in the guest room or something, and they stack their quilts up and they never fold them. And I'm not careless with my quilts, but I don't have that kind of room
Right.
to take care of them. First off, I use them. Secondly, yes, I wash them, but I wash them all in cold water with color catchers for the first couple of times.
Right.
Second, colors with vinegar the first time. And when I took out my Halloween quilt, Mr. Chillingsworth, so because I have a small area where I hang quilts on the wall that are style, he had wrinkles in from fold wrinkles.
Right.
So I just threw him in the dryer and kind of misted him in the dryer. Came out, looked beautiful.
You can't beat that. Mine's usable.
I just figure if you put good fabric into them with good thread count, they're going to last.
Absolute. We have a question for you. Where did the name Sister Chicks come from? So spill the tea, girl. Spill the tea.
Okay. In 1992 and 93, some young women were visiting me from our church, and I'm a little bit flippant, and I was calling them chicks, or calling my daughter a chick, and I just, before the days of political correctness, for sure.
Right.
And they started calling, because they were from church, they started calling me Sister Chick.
I love it.
It stuck, and I have been Sister Chick ever since. In 2001, we moved to Idaho from LA, and the first thing I did was, because Chuck said, we're not going to have, that's the engineer, by the way. The engineer said, we will not have chickens. I will not allow chickens in my house. Went and bought chickens. And then I went and bought the stuff to build a chicken coop. And he can't stand it when I make anything because I don't do it as good as he does. So he built this beautiful chicken coop. And after that, I became Grandma Chickens, which so the other grandma is Grandma and Grandpa Cows, and we were Grandma and Grandpa Chickens. And so I love that. And so for all the neighborhood kids, I've been Grandma Chickens or Sister Chick or the Chick or the Quilting Chick. That's where it came.
To me, that's just so cool. So you've been quilting X number of years. So I'm going to get into your long arming section.
Okay.
So when did you take off on long arming? And how did you pick your first machine?
I was going to buy an APQS because that's a great machine. And my girlfriend became the Gamble dealer. And so I bought from her because she was a Gamble dealer.
Oh, okay.
Gamble Statler.
I think a Statler's what Tucker Nace has as well, but don't
It
quote him.
is.
He loves it.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's the Cadillac of all quilting machines.
That's cool.
And if I had an APQS or a handy quilter, I would still say that. I think everybody should have whatever works for them.
Absolute.
Yes, Tucker and I are Gamble fans for sure.
Oh, absolute. I guarantee you. I have seen his work on them and it just blows me away every time because I have a long arm, but my specialty show quilts I send to him.
Oh yeah, my daughter and I just took a custom quilt off the machine a couple of hours ago. It's been on for 3 days and it's just gorgeous.
I love the attention to detail. Mine can't do, I'm not saying mine can't. I don't have that ability. So let me put it that way. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Yep. If someone's going to give you a quilt, do you have like a questionnaire on your site that they would fill out to send you?
I do.
And how does that process work so we can streamline business your way?
I do. It's at sisterchicksquilting.com, and I'm not computerized yet as far as being able to fill out your form online. I have a friend working on my website because here's the sad thing. I built my website and I'm a mess. And so when it comes to technical and stuff, so I have a friend working on my website. Hopefully people will just be able to, when he's done, we'll be able to just go in and you can fill it out online and ship your quilt to me because I get quilts from all over the United States to quilt.
Oh,
and but now my contact information is there. When I get a quilt or when someone comes in, they get the same service. And what I do is consult with them. And I want to pick their brain. I want to find out what they want their quilt to look like, how they want it to feel, what's most important to them. And I'll work with them because we really want the quilting to enhance the quilt, not to take front place or first place in the quilt. It should really be your piecing. Unless, of course, sometimes, a quilt can do that. But so we consult with everybody. And in fact, my friend Verity Vintage Studio that I told you about, we just have a quilt that I have to call her in the morning and we'll go over what she wants on it and everything, and I'll get it back to her.
Now, do you have a certain way that you like them packaged? I know this sounds like silly questions, but I've received them to where they're all just folded up and then you spend hours like pressing everything back out. I like everything loosely packed, so I'm checking you.
Well, I don't press. But a lot of people ship their quilts to me, and because they ship them to me, I will press out any big wrinkle, any big fold lines. But I also, you can put them on the long arm and
stretch them out,
or spritz them, and that takes care of it. But what's interesting? I have clients who press their quilts and then they gently fold them up and ship them to me. And they hardly have any, and there's a difference between someone who doesn't press and sends their quilt to me. So, yeah.
I think you can tell the difference if it was just here, you fix it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, do you like it when they trim off all those little loose threads? Does it make it easier for you? Or do you just go with whatever? One time, I'm telling you, I've seen them to where, oh my gosh, you might spend 8 or 10 hours cutting off all these little threads that you wish you'd have thought to say, hey, you got to cut these off.
I don't do that. I don't care what goes on the inside of the quilt because it's not going to show, only if they have a white background and they have some really dark threads. So I don't bother with that. The threads I like trimmed are on the edge because those will get caught in the clamps, or they can get caught in the little tracks and stuff if they're hanging. So I tell them to put the ones on the outside if they don't get the ones on the top, that's done when we quilt. It's like, this is kind of gross, but it's like picking a zit, you know, you want to get in there. You get in there with your nips and clip the top
Yeah.
threads. But
Easiest way to explain it. It's true.
yeah. And then, but you know what? I want this to be a positive, easy experience for my customers. So the only threads that you need to trim are those that will show through your backing.
Absolutely.
And if through your backing, don't put yourself through it, man.
I guarantee you. Now, another question. Do you charge per inch or do you go with the quilt? Once it's in your hand, you do your own measurements to make sure it's cohesive with what they're sending. How do you price out your quilts? That way, if I'm going to use me as the example, say I need a specialty quilt, you're computerized, and I'm like, I need you to do this.
Yeah, I always start at, my prices begin at 2 cents an inch. And that's just for a general edge to edge. And then it goes up from there. I always measure every quilt, especially if we're doing borders and custom on them, because we need to know the size. And so you have to measure it. You have to measure the quilts when you put them on your long arm, because
Absolutely.
set it up. So because on the computer you have to have, so I'll always measure every quilt, even
Right.
if I probably have 5 customers that I don't measure, because every time I measure, they're exactly spot on, but the rest of them I measure.
Right. Do you have like a sample on either your website or in your studio per se that gives the different designs that you can do?
On my website, there's a whole bunch of edge to edge. I have about 500 edge to edge designs I can choose from. And the ones I show, I don't show the custom ones. They wouldn't make sense. They wouldn't make sense to people.
Yeah, exactly. Miss Di, what is your go-to for white 80/20 batting? I'm struggling to find something that would work for a very light quilt top in a dark backing.
I have to ask, is that Debbie Dobbins?
Yep.
She calls me Miss Di.
Yep, that was Debbie.
So she is struggling to find, what is my go-to batting for? Again, I want to get it right.
Okay, Miss Di, what is your go-to for white 80/20 batting? I am struggling to find something that would work for a very light quilt top in dark backing.
So I'm assuming she wants it lightweight, or the quilt top is light colors with dark backing and she wants white.
Right.
Hobs. I love hobs. I also like the Quilter's Dream, but
yeah, I use hobs if it's a light front, light top.
And if it's white, white is going to be it's going to work good on that. And if you normally don't have, you don't want to buy a great big 30-yard roll of it, just buy it in the package and lay it out. But my go-to batting is hobs.
Right. Susie Gabbard, question: when selling quilts, what size is more likely to sell quicker?
Don't know.
I go for the design, the pattern. I go for the overall. I don't go for the size, but
yeah, I don't know. I would think maybe bigger than twin snuggle quilt. That's my guess.
Yeah.
And that's what it is a guess.
Now I'm going to slide you over to the YouTube world. Whatever got you interested in YouTube, and how did that ever come about?
So if you've ever watched a channel called Heidi Sonbold DIY, when she was a young woman of about, I think, I knew her first at 16. I used to teach her at church,
Oh,
I called her up one day and I knew she didn't live in California anymore. She lives in the middle of the country. But I called her up. I said, "Hey, I have a question. Can you help me with something?" And she says, "Well, what are you trying to do?" And I says, "Well, I'm trying to get this video to show on my website, blah, 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 but I don't know what I'm doing." And somebody suggested I use YouTube to park the video. And she said, by the way, she has like 188,000 subscribers and does very well on YouTube. And she said, Di, I'm going to help you, but not in a way you think I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you get a YouTube channel. I go, "Yeah, Heidi, I don't want a YouTube channel. I hate YouTube." She goes, "No, you don't understand. You need a YouTube channel." I said, "Heidi, you don't understand. I hate YouTube." And she said, "Di, I'm telling you, you are made for YouTube."
you are.
And so I said, "All right, what do I need to do?" And here we are.
Do you remember your first one?
It was horrible.
I have one of those too. So I think we all do.
Yeah, if you scroll to the bottom of all my videos, you'll find it. It's like I'm explaining myself. I'm telling who I am and what I got into. And I'm sitting like this, and I've got, and my hands, these hands are giant, and they're moving.
I kid you not. You got the computer screen was here like this, and I'm in the camera, and it is so awful. And I begged him and begged him to take that down, and he won't. And now I don't care. But like right afterwards, I was like, "Oh, we can't put that out there. That's awful." I was wrapping quilts all around me, and the monitor right here, and all you can see is my nose.
Funny. Yeah.
I think we all have that really bad video.
Yeah, we're not professionals.
No, and
we just know a little bit more.
As we're looking back on it now, it's funny, It shows where we came from to where we are today.
Right.
And
right.
It's just fun. Let me see. Teresa Louise is now in the house, and she says she thinks it would be twin or a full would sell. And skimming down through, and baby quilts sell really good. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, baby quilts would
think about baby quilts. Wall hangings, they would sell. But for me, when I see something, it's got to catch my eye for me to really want it. Teresa Louise, you know how bad that video was, so don't be dropping that link. How many do you employ people to work with you?
Just one. My daughter.
You can't beat that. Things aren't going to get messed up. You got to have someone you can trust.
She's the best. She helps me with the bookkeeping. She helps with the quilting. And then when I'm in my frenetic, crazy ADD mode, she says, Mom, Di. And I'll go, "What?" And she'll go, "Take a breath and go write a list." So she's worth every penny.
I'll guarantee you, mine do that too. And I'm just like dying. My daughter and husband keep me in check a lot because I'm really OCD. I've got ABCD. I've got to follow my list.
Yeah.
But
the engineer doesn't really work for me. It's kind of our business, but he does all of my video editing. And so,
absolute. Maybe not professionals, but y'all bring so much joy to so many. Thank you, Debbie Dobbins. That is so kind and sweet. Debt free quilter, drop the no, Heather.
Can I just say something right away? The thing that brings me the most amount of joy in this whole YouTube experience are the wonderful viewers and the really cool things they say. When you hear from a lady who has lost her spouse 3 years ago, and she just can't get on with life. And she says, it was one of your videos and I'm quilting again. I mean, it just makes my heart want to cry.
Oh, that's so
So,
sweet. I mean,
yeah.
the journey that we're both on, you're seasoned, I'm new. And the people that I've met along this last 2 years, well, I've been on YouTube. April will be my 1 year anniversary.
Oh, yay.
But just like all the people I've met, I never would have met had it not been for YouTube. And I've got lifelong friends.
Right. And Debbie Dobbins, I've got to meet her live because she comes to my retreat, because I host a quilt retreat, and this year it's in April. So I still have spots available at my quilt retreat.
So you got to spill the tea with me, but first I have to handle something. Teresa Louise, you're grounded. She dropped my video. You are in big trouble. And now I'm going to get back to the interview, girlfriend. You can't have a sister in Idaho that's not going to throw you under the bus, you know?
I promise.
So tell me about your quilt retreats. I would love to come to one.
So I've decided to do it once a year. A lot. I love quilt retreats, and I have a group of 6 ladies that I retreat with. And one of them, a dear friend, was used to come out from Pennsylvania, which I believe is your neck of the woods, from Media. So I don't know how close to that is, but she's no longer with us, and we just love quilt retreats. I made a video of my quilt retreat, and everybody was like, I want to retreat with you. It's on my bucket list or whatever. I want to come to one of your retreats. So last year we held the first Sister Chicks quilt retreat, and we go to Albion, Idaho, which is, there's these, I call them antique. They're not antique buildings. They're restored. There's a restored college campus, and we stay in Miller Hall. And Michelle, my daughter, comes and cooks the most sumptuous food for you. So all of your food and your room and board is taken care of. And you just bring your machine and your projects and quilt your brains out. And there's a fun goodie bag. So it's this April the 19th to the 22nd in Albion, Idaho, and it's only $580.
April 19th through what is it?
The 22nd.
Okay.
Through Saturday.
And how much was it again?
$580.
That's not bad at all.
No, it's not.
If someone flew into an airport, how would they get to you?
Well, we'd
we'll have to talk offline.
Yeah, they can rent a car and drive, or we can, we're going to have to help hook some people up, I know, but it's 3 hours east of Boise. And so I'm sure there's some people that we could, work a ride out. But yeah, they're a lot of fun. Quilt retreats are the best.
I don't know how to say it. I feel more alive after one. You know what I mean?
You know what? You are so right. My husband loves it when Blue Block and I come home from a quilt retreat. Our husbands love it because we're just so relaxed and chill. The tension's gone. They've missed us. And we're actually kinder, gentler women. So
he loves it when he sends me away.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I promise you that anyone that attends Miss I's quilt retreats will not be disappointed. So much fun. Absolutely.
That's Debbie
How
again.
far are you? I can't make out what Becca's. I've got a floater in mind. I'm seeing the eye doctor tomorrow.
Oh.
Pocatello. How far from Pocatello?
How far from Pocatello?
Pocatello.
Pocatello. I'm trying to make
Pocatello. It's Pocatello, Idaho. Albion, the quilt retreat, is only an hour and a half from Pocatello. Maybe 2 hours. It's kind of in the center of the state. How far am I from Pocatello? I live in the Boise area. So if you live in Pocatello, you know how long it takes you to get to Boise. That's how long it takes to come to my house.
Wow. Well, we're going to have to talk when we get off here and see how many openings. Let me, before I get to just,
Oh,
yeah.
there are 11 spaces left. We can take 20 and 11. Oh, no. No, I've sold 11. So there's 9 spaces left.
Okay. Okay. We got some talking to do. Work trip to Pocatello with a side trip to Dyes. I love it. Becca, how cool would that be? I don't know if Idaho could take both of us.
Funny.
Good Lord. She would, yeah, no.
Is that Becca?
Yeah, Becca's in the house and she goes, work trip. So she's trying to plan a work trip and then out of that work trip, do a side gig over to the retreat.
Well,
turning them wheels.
I every trip I go on, I fart all the way. Do you ever fart on the way?
Nah, no.
That's a fabric acquisition road trip. And I stop at quilt shops and buy fabric, or this last trip I stopped at IKEA to pick some furniture up for the office. So I write it off.
Cool.
You've done that.
Teresa Louise is saying it's an hour at least from the airport to Di's house. Teresa Louise, how far is it from you? I absolutely love quilt retreats. I will plan to come next year. Denise Beck.
Okay.
I'm
looking for you, Denise Beck.
I just love her. She comes to the ones that I do. And she's just a sweetheart. Dearly love her. And it's good for the soul. I can't even explain.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
So
You're with
good.
like-minded people doing something that you like, and not the question of why are you doing that? That doesn't make sense. That's good math. It's quilt math.
And then Michelle totally waits on us. We come home we've been to the quilt shop. We go to this quilt shop called the Gathering Place. So we come back and she's got these wonderful fresh baked chocolate chip cookies. And for some of the ladies, she was listening to them. She had balls of cookie dough for them.
Oh, God love her. How cool
I
is
know.
that?
So she does
cookie dough, buddy. That's the way to go.
She does all the meals, and then she does one sumptuous dessert a day.
Oh my God, I'd go and the plane wouldn't take off the ground.
It's fun.
Oh, it sounds like a blast. So what if someone was coming to your retreat? Tell me what to expect from the minute I get in the door. What do we get from coming to your retreat? We're bringing our machine. We're bringing our crafts.
So
How does it work for you?
So you pull up to the building, and we have younger myself. We help haul your luggage in and up. We're staying in an older building. It was built in 1901, and the stairs have a high rise to them. So we haul all of your luggage up to your room for you. And then you find a place to set up your sewing machine, and you can start sewing immediately. We gather, we have fun. Last time we played the fun safety pin game, and everybody got prizes that won. In fact, this is one of the prizes. It's an inside outside bag.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, it's a fun little pattern. And so we not everybody got a prize, but everybody got a goodie bag. And there's dinner that night, because you come, check-in time is from noon to whenever you get there. And the beds were so comfortable. Everybody really liked the beds and the mattresses. The building was plenty warm. The showers were nice. Most of the rooms had bathrooms and sinks in them. There were a few that didn't.
Are
And
they single rooms?
they're double occupancy.
Okay.
So we do the fee is for double occupancy. And then you come down and Michelle has she had a little Keurig, and so people could make their own coffee, you know. She had a bunch of those cup things and their own coffee and tea, and she had meals planned for us, so you just sit and sew and visit and have a blast.
Now, is there a central sewing area?
Yes, we all sew in the same room, and that's where the kitchen is. Now, it can hold 20 people. Most of us just take our plates and go sit at our machine and eat. There's a little sitting area that's out in the hallway. Some ladies sit there to eat. There were a few bar stools. Some ladies sit at the bar to eat. And we just kind of plop all over. There's comfy leather couches to flop down into. And one lady that came to help Michelle cook the food last year just brought 4 quilts, and she hand bound 4 quilts. So
Cool.
So between cooking with Michelle, she would go sit down on one of the couches and just visit and sew.
That is awesome. Your spool quilt behind you is made up of fabric salvage strips.
Yes, it is.
That's so clever.
This is like one of my favorite quilts. And I save selvages. And this is linen. The spool is linen because I want it to look wool. And I put this yellow sashing in it, but I really love these. And I can look at all the spools and really like what they're all coming, I know what they all come from.
That is a really fabulous idea.
I did a video on this, and I have a free pattern, and it's on my website. So if you go to my videos, it came out last spring, and it says salvage spool quilt. So that is one of my favorite quilts.
All right. Joe's highlighting for me. Got to double the requeat. 1 minute. I'm trying. Mona did what? Wants to know how many flights of stairs is it?
I think it's 2, but we've got some ladies that can't do the stairs, and there's a few rooms on the main floor, and those are starting to fill up fast.
Okay. Are there any projects done?
In your goodie bag, there will be one project, and then the rest of it will be all of your projects.
Oh boy, glad you are all right, Marie John. Something happened up there. I must have missed it in the chat. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, someone's husband got hurt in the railroad.
Oh, sorry.
Well, tell your husband, be careful, and we'll keep him in our prayers. Marie John, your husband's in our prayers, sweetheart. 15 minutes
Sorry.
from the area. We all know now what to pray for tonight when we go to sleep.
Yes.
Salvages, who knew? I'm just trying to catch. I've never been to a retreat. I need to treat myself to one. Susie Gabbard, absolute. I'm telling you, when you've been to a retreat, it's off the hook. You're meeting people that you've never met before 90% of the time. They become bonus family because you get so tight in such a short amount of time. And some of them become pen pals or text pals or what is that? Messenger every day.
So can I tell you, I have to tell you how I got started on retreats. I had an Instagram friend by the name of Pat Spera, and I bet she was friends with so many people, but she and I would talk on the phone for hours. And he posted one day on Instagram. She goes, "I'm so excited. I'm going to my first Lori Holt quilt retreat, and it's in Draper, Utah at this quilt shop." And I thought, oh my gosh, she's coming clear from Pennsylvania. It's the least I can do to drive down from Idaho because it was only like 5 hours. So I called her up and I said, well, if you're coming, I feel like I need to come down and meet you. And she said, oh, would you? She goes, now the retreat is not sold out, but all of the rooms are sold out. And she said, but you know what? I'll room with you. You can room with me. And I'm like, okay. So I did. This woman I'd never seen before, met. I'm 5'10". She's like 5'1". She's just this tiny little, we were like Mutt and Jeff. And so we go there and we meet at this retreat and became fast friends, even more friendly than we were before. And Kathy, the lady that sat to my right at another table, she was wonderful. She lives in California and we still chat sometimes on Instagram. I just love her. And the room had like 39 retreaters in it. It was this massive, massive room, but they all didn't stay at the retreat center. And I met these two sisters that I fell in love with, Tammy and Karen. Well, I had so much fun. And I thought, I'm going to start my own retreat. And I contacted Tammy and Karen and my bestie and a few other people, and I put my own retreat together. Two of the ladies that I invited, I didn't know, I just knew them from Instagram. Two strangers.
Isn't that something?
Turned out to be the best friends. And we've been retreating since 2015. We go twice a year. We either go up in the mountains by McCall, Idaho, which is really close to Teresa Louise, or we used to go to Karen's house in Draper, Utah, this huge, massive house. And we have exchanged gifts. We've cried over each other's sad times. We've rejoiced over the happy times we've had. We are the 7 besties. And we get together twice a year and it just fills my heart. And so that's why I wanted to share it with everybody else. And that's the one that I filmed. You can go ahead. I've got 1, 2, 3 retreat videos, I believe, on my channel. And the very first one that I show is, I believe it is in McCall, Idaho. And I filmed us sitting, well, you'll just see if you go watch it. But it's just crazy how close we've become. These women are like sisters to me.
That's cool.
When one of them lost a son last summer, we all cried for her. And of course, the first thing was Yellow Block said, oh, let's send flowers. And I'm like, okay. And we all have a different name. And the reason we have a different name is we thought, we all have so much quilting stuff and we're bringing each other gifts each time. And I think it was Marie or Purple Block. She says, why don't we make a quilt? And we can all do a block on the quilt. And so she ended up doing the Purple Block. We did the Scrap Jar Stars quilt. So she did the Purple Block. Cassie did the Pink Block. And what we've done is I was joking on a video about one of my friends from the retreat. And I said, yeah, she's just Aqua Block. It sounds like a quilting superhero. So we all have a different color block. So we have blue block, green block, yellow block, aqua block, coral block, red block, and purple block. And we all have these names. And we get together and retreat. And I'll refer to, like I did a Q&A video one time at Tammy's house, and she's coral block. So
that's so cool.
So that, anyway, enough about that now.
I like that. That is my favorite quilt on Sister Chicks Quilting from the sewing channel.
What, this one?
Checking it out.
The spool block?
Tracy, which video, honey? That's my favorite quilt on Sister Chicks Quilting. I think she might be talking about the one behind it, but I'm not sure.
Oh, it might be the retreat quilt too.
It very well could be the retreat
stars.
quilt. Let me see.
I bet it's the Scrap Jar Stars.
I very well could be the jar quilt, she's saying.
Yeah, Scrap Jar Stars. Yeah, it's a beautiful quilt.
Oh, how cool is that?
Mhm.
Does anyone else, before I end the interview tonight and the retreat, she's saying now the retreat quilt.
Yeah.
I generally run my interviews about an hour or so and some change. So does anyone else have any questions for Di before I end the interview tonight? And I wanted to thank you so much, sweetheart, for coming on with me. Stay on with me when we end, because I have a couple
Okay.
questions for you.
You're so welcome, Donna.
I appreciate it. Marie
Fun.
John, it's all cleaned up for now, and that's why they're not telling us. Marla at Marie John's, they're still talking about the accident. Susie,
Last week, or
I understand now. Joe, my husband was a railroader, so he's telling me about this railroad accident last week.
Oh, the one in New Palestine, Pennsylvania.
Was it in PA, ladies?
It's right on the border
Ohio?
of Ohio and PA.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, Tracy, you're gonna get me murdered. I'm supposed to ask you a Amish quilt question. So if I don't ask this question, she'll never let me live it down. So with that being said, I'm gonna ask this one time. And Tracy, if she gets the shotgun out, it's on you, babe. Please tell us what you think of the quality of Amish made quilts.
You know what? This is a total setup.
I didn't have no part of it.
No,
I'm only
facilitated it. So, when I ran my online quilt shop, I used to take this magazine that was made for quilt shop owners. It's forgotten the name of it, but in that magazine there was an article about the Amish quilts, and actually they have so much demand for their quilts. Now their quilts are hand pieced, they're machine pieced, but they're hand quilted. Anyway, in that it told that they send their quilts over to India, a good portion of their quilts, and they teach the little kids how to quilt them.
really.
And so this is true. There was an article in a magazine, and there was pictures of the little kids quilting them and everything.
Holy moly.
And so anyway, I've often thought that about that. But we have a store here close to me, and the owners have ties to Pennsylvania from when they lived there, and they have the Amish quilts brought in. And so we have them here in Idaho too, even though we don't have a big Amish group of people. And I was just telling Tracy when we were talking about Amish quilts that I think they could choose their fabric better. So I'm not.
That's all she's saying, Tracy. That's it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get her under the bus. You've already pulled on top, you know? So we're not spilling no more tea on it. Girl, she always gets me into something. I'm telling you. I'm dying over here. She's probably laying sideways on her couch going, I know how she rolls. Marla is asking, is Di's health any better since your episode? Would you like to give a recap, or is that like...
What is she saying? If Di what?
Everybody's asking how you're feeling.
Because I did have a stroke last.
Right. And they're asking for a recap from then to now of what you want to talk about.
I am feeling fantastic. To make a long story short, and it's been a long 3 months, I had a stroke. I lost my vision for 5 days. It slowly came back. I got it all back after 10 days. I had to wear a heart monitor after the stroke because they look at everything trying to figure out what caused the stroke. And I'm on a whole bunch of new meds, but according to the heart doctors, I have a bum heart. So I had a really bad problem with my heart. There were 3 things wrong with it. It was pretty serious. They did emergency surgery on me in January on, I think, the 19th, the Wednesday after Martin Luther King Day. And I got a pacemaker. The first 2 weeks after the pacemaker, I was like, yeah, whatever. And week 3, I'm just like, I'm there, man. I've got my juju back. I'm feeling so fantastic.
Mama's got a groove back.
I know I do. And it's funny because the engineer is like when I was going through chemo, he said, you know, I actually like it better. You can only do one thing a day now that you're going through chemo because I can keep up with you.
Oh, that's too funny.
I'm a go-getter. I just go, 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 go. And I have so much energy. So I'm feeling really good. Thank you for asking. Modern medicine is a miracle. My pacemaker has a Bluetooth in it. It talks to my phone, and my phone transmits that report of my heartbeat to my doctor's office every night at midnight. Isn't that crazy?
Technology today, I'm telling you.
I know. It's like I'm sure they've implanted chips or something in me too, but that's another story.
It's okay. We'll take the tracker if it keeps you with us a lot longer.
There you go.
Got a cell phone,
There
you're
you
being
go.
tracked. Just saying.
So I am doing, like I say, fantastic. Thanks for asking.
I love you, girl. Thank you for this interview. I greatly appreciate it. It's always a blast to sit and chat with you.
Thank you.
Thank God every day that you're getting better and better. So with all of that being said, thank you guys for your questions in the chat. Thank you very much, Teresa Louise, for throwing me under the bus. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Tracy for throwing Di under. We have the most amazing friends. And we love you, ladies. Thank you, moderators, for tonight. Take care. God bless, and I'll see you back in the next video.
Bye, everyone.
Happy Valentine's Day tomorrow, everyone. Bye, guys.
Bye.